Here's to yet another archetype featured in a one-off episode that has nothing to do with the plot yet still wins the hearts of fans around the world. The Dizzy or Hot Sauce archetype, known as the Drunken or Sake archetype in the original, is the deck used by Chumley's father, a reputable duelist who has found his calling in Sake or Hot Sauce in the dub. For funsies, I decided to adapt the deck using the censored version. Just love me some hot sauce. The premise of the deck as used in the anime is based on this card, Flipping the Table, which allows the player to destroy all their cards then in turn destroy the same number of cards their opponent controls. Mr. Huffington takes advantage of this with cards that either can't be destroyed or that activate effects like burn damage when they are destroyed. This custom support builds on that aspect while also filling out a lineup of dizzy monsters, hot sauce spells and traps, and cards to support the restaurant aesthetic. Starting off, the monsters are the two anime exclusives, the first of which is Dizzy Angel. If sent to the grave by card effect, you can add one card that mentions flipping the table from deck to hand, except the angel. On field effect, you can target one card on the field, shuffle 3 cards that mention flipping the table from your grave into the deck, then destroy that target. And this becomes a quick effect if its current attack is greater than its original attack by 300 or more. The other anime adaptation is Dizzy Tiger, who when sent to the grave by effect, which by the way all of these monsters have that trigger, you can target one monster on the field and flip it to face down defense. On field, if he attacks a face down defense monster at the start of the damage step, that monster is destroyed if you control flipping the table. Now we get into the new guys, starting with Dizzy Lion. If sent to the grave by card effect during this turn, any dizzy monster summoned to your field gains 300 attack and defense. On field, during the main phase, you can send one card from deck to grave that mentions flipping the table with a different name from the cards currently in your grave. And this becomes a quick effect if its current attack is greater than its original attack by 300 or more. Next we have Dizzy Monkey, who you can special summon from hand if you control flipping the table. If sent to the grave by card effect, you can target one dizzy monster in your grave except the monkey and special summon it. And finally, on field, if a card has been destroyed by card effect this turn, you can tribute the monkey to special summon a dizzy monster from your deck. Just a ruling clarification for you all, since the tribute is a cost, it's not considered being sent to the grave by card effect, so you can't trigger its second effect by using its third effect. And finally, for the monsters, we have Dizzy Fairy. You can send her from hand or face up field to the grave to add one flipping the table from your deck, and if she's sent to the grave by card effect, you can activate one family restaurant from your deck or grave. Starting off the spells is the centerpiece, Flipping the Table. When activated, adds one dizzy monster from deck to hand. Then its main effect, which is as it is in the anime, if you control a dizzy monster, destroy as many cards as you control as possible except this card, then destroy as many cards your opponent controls as possible, up to the number of your own cards destroyed by this effect. And you can't normal summon or set the turn you activate this effect. So like I said, this is the centerpiece. The core strategy here is to wipe your board, to wipe your opponent's board, then your monsters, and as you'll see spells and traps, have effects that trigger when sent to the grave by card effect. The field spell is Family Restaurant, the one card here that can't be destroyed by your card effects, so it's immune to flipping the table. Once per turn, during the end phase, special summon any number of dizzy monsters from your grave that were destroyed by the effects of cards that mention flipping the table, so this is another key way the deck leverages flipping the table by taking the monsters you lost and bringing them all back to keep you going on the ensuing turn. And finally, while flipping the table locks you out of normal summoning, you can flip that onto your opponent because during the end phase, if you control flipping the table and you activated its effect, your opponent can't normal summon or set during their next turn. Next up is the Equip Sauce Shades. Equips only to a dizzy monster and grants a 300 attack and defense, which will turn your angel and lion into quick effects. Its on field effect, you can target one card you control except Sauce Shades in the equipped monster, destroy it, then add one hot sauce spell or trap from deck to hand. And if this card is sent to the grave because the equipped monster left the field, you can send one card that mentions flipping the table from your deck to the grave. And now we get into the hot sauces, starting off with a card that searches them top shelf. Nets you one hot sauce spell or trap from deck to hand. Also has a grave effect where if the activation or effect of flipping the table would be negated, you can banish this card from your grave instead. I've mentioned this before, but I have a strong feeling we're going to see more effects like this from Konami as a power creep to the rampant negation running around right now. It's the natural next step to basically negate the negation. Alright, now we have Hot Sauce Bottle, the one that's adapted from the anime. This is a continuous spell. Once per turn, you can special summon one dizzy monster from your hand, which helps you out since you can't normal summon the same turn you use flipping the table's destruction effect. And like the anime, this card inflicts 500 damage to your opponent if it's destroyed while face up. And finally, once per turn during the end phase, if this card is in the grave because it was sent out this turn, You can target one card in your grave that mentions flipping the table, except Hot Sauce Bottle, and add it to your hand. So playing more to that end phase recursion theming alongside Family Restaurant. Next is Cajun Hot Sauce, which lets you destroy one card you control to special summon one dizzy monster from your deck, but it is destroyed during the end phase. So it helps you trigger those sent to the grave by effect effects. Speaking of which, if this card is sent to the grave by the effect of flipping the table or a card that mentions it, send the top 3 cards of your deck to the grave, and pray you hit a worthwhile effect. Final spell is Peri Hot Sauce, a quick play that targets one dizzy monster on the field and bumps it by 500 attack until the end of the turn. Then you can destroy one face-up monster on the field whose attack is less than the current attack of the target. So whether that be an opponent's monster or triggering some of your other dizzy monsters by getting them to the grave. If this card itself is sent to the grave by flipping the table or a card that mentions it, you can target one face-up card on the field and spray its eyes with hot sauce, or in other words, negate its effects until the end of the turn. This is an especially useful effect alongside the other effects like Peri or Lion, which if you get it into the grave during your opponent's turn, can be a neat little disruption. The lone trap and final hot sauce card is Sriracha. Looks like a lot of text, but it's pretty straightforward. If only your opponent controls a monster, you can activate this card from your hand. When activated, special summon one dizzy monster from your hand or grave and equip it with this card. It gains 300 attack and defense and can't be destroyed by battle. When this card is destroyed, destroy the equipped monster. So between those two effects, it almost ensures that in order to get rid of that monster, your opponent will have to do so by card effect. And if it hits the grave, you get its effect to go off. Then finally, the grave effect is during your opponent's turn. If you control flipping the table and a dizzy monster, you can banish it to destroy one card you control, then one card your opponent controls. So it basically functions as a mini flipping the table but on your opponent's turn, and that makes it another candidate for a card to get into your grave to disrupt your opponent on their turn. Let's go through a demonstration of the Dizzy deck. So this deck is very combo oriented, but not in the sense that you're going to spam a bunch of monsters, but instead just has a bunch of different interactions with the cards and how they work with each other and help you to toolbox against whatever game state you find yourself in. So we're opening up with Dizzy Lion, Cajun Hot Sauce Shades, and a couple of hand traps here. So let's start off with normal summoning the Lion. Lion can use its effect to send a card from deck to grave that mentions flipping the table. So let's send the Dizzy Angel. And Dizzy Angel, when it hits the grave by card effect, triggers its effect to search out a card that mentions flipping the table from deck to hand. So let's go grab the Peri. We use the Fairy's effect to send it from our hand to the grave to search out flipping the table, and then activate flipping the table. And on flipping the table's activation, we get to add a dizzy monster from deck to hand. So let's go grab the Monkey. All right, let's activate the Cajun Hot Sauce to destroy our monster here, to special summon a dizzy monster from our deck. So that's going to nab us. We're just going to get another copy of Dizzy Lion. And now since our other copy of Dizzy Lion hit the grave, any dizzy monster that we summon for the rest of the turn is going to gain 300 attack and defense. So now since we control flipping the table, we can special summon the Monkey. We can equip Sauce Shades to our Lion, so it'll jump up to 21 and 5. We've already used a Dizzy Lion effect this turn, so we can't use we can't use that same effect. But we can use Sauce Shades to destroy one card we control other than itself or the equipped monster. We'll destroy the Monkey to add a Hot Sauce spell trap from our deck to our hand. Let's grab the Peri. Dizzy Monkey, since it hit the grave, will special summon a dizzy monster from our grave. We can grab the Angel. Angel, thanks to Lion's other effect, will gain 300 attack and defense, putting it at 21 and 7. Set our Imperm, set our Peri, go to the end phase. Thanks to Cajun Hot Sauce, this Dizzy Lion that was summoned by it is going to be destroyed. And since Sauce Shades is sent to the grave because the equipped monster left the field, we can send one card that mentions flipping the table from deck to hand, or from deck to grave. So let's do that to send the Angel, or to send the Fairy. The Fairy effect will activate, which when it is sent to the grave by card effect, activates Family Restaurant from our deck. So we'll do just that. All right, and now we're going to activate Family Restaurant's effect in the end phase, which is that we will special summon any number of dizzy monsters from our grave that were destroyed by the effects of cards that mention flipping the table during this turn. So that would be the monkey that was destroyed by Sauce Shades, and that'll be the 2 lions that were destroyed by Cajun hot sauce. This one was destroyed to activate it, and this one was destroyed at the end phase of the Cajun hot sauce's end phase resolution effect. So all these guys are also going to gain 300 attack and defense. So now on our opponent's turn, what we got going for us is a bunch of different disruptions. First, we have the Dizzy Angel's effect 2. Since its attack is currently 300 or more greater than its original attack, we can use its effect to shuffle back 3 cards I mentioned, flipping the table, so any 3 of these, to target a card on the field and destroy it. The next thing we have for us is Peri Hot Sauce, which can increase the attack of one of our Dizzy monsters by 500. So any one of the 2100 is a good candidate to bring it up to 2600. And then that would destroy any one opponent's monster that has less than 2600 attack. So that's our second disruption. Then we have, of course, our hand traps, so the 2 more right there. And then we have Dizzy Lion's effect, also becomes a quick effect. Since its attack is 300 or more than its original, we can send a card from deck to grave. So with that, a card that mentions flipping the table from deck to grave. So with that, we could send something like Sriracha Hot Sauce, as long as it is a name that doesn't already share a name with a card in our grave. For some reason that didn't send. And then we have Sriracha Hot Sauce's effect in our grave. Since we control flipping the table and the Dizzy monster, we could banish it to destroy 1 card we control and then destroy 1 card our opponent controls. So that could be any one of these guys. Maybe if we've already triggered Angel for the turn, we could hit that to destroy a card our opponent controls and then trigger Angel to search out another card that mentions flipping the table. So like I mentioned, a lot of different interactions with this deck, even some that I still find every time I play this deck. So it's a pretty fun deck to play, and hope you guys enjoy getting saucy with it. So that does it for the Dizzy deck. Hope you enjoyed, and be sure to like and subscribe, because in 2 weeks, we'll say hello to my old friend.